Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to Amsterdam and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Angelique and today I am going to take you to another part of the city of Amsterdam. It's in the back here, it's very far, you can't see it from here, but it's a very nice part of the city as well, and it's called the Nieuwmarket. So translated that says Nieuwmarket area. There is a lot of things to see and to do there. Like in the weekend, a lot of people go there to have drinks on terraces. And we could call this part of the city also Little Chinatown, and I will show you later when I get there, because all the street names are written in Chinese as well, so then you know you are in Little Chinatown in Amsterdam. Okay, let's go there. I am so excited to show you around there. See you!
No, I'm looking down from up in the sky. I don't quite get how I've been without you for all this time. Good God, I'm bent out of shape now. You got a body like a model. You got a body that you always.
Hi, I just arrived at the Nieuwmarket with in the background one of the nicest buildings of Amsterdam. It's a medieval building and it's called the Waag. So yeah, this building was actually built in the 15th century, and through time, through history, it had many functions, but it was originally built actually as a city wall. So it was actually part of the big medieval city wall that was around medieval Amsterdam. So yeah, I will, walk over there and explain you some more things about it, and then you can see some nice details as well. So we're just going to walk over there to the Waag. As you can see, it has quite some towers, and these towers were also used later on. I mean, after the period that when it had its function as a city gate, and it was part of the city wall. So that was in the 15th century when it was built, but then afterwards in the 17th century it actually became a government building where merchants were obliged to weigh their merchandise, so hence the name Waag. And then what also happened is that in these towers there were like entrances for the different guilds. You probably know that in Europe for some period of time, like in the Middle Age, starting from the Middle Ages until the 18th century or so, you used to have these guilds that were like interest groups for people with the same profession, and you can nicely see that here. It's like in each of these towers there were different guilds, but I'll just show you. We go a little bit closer. See you there. So here we are at one of the entrances. As you can see, there is a door here, and it's like in one of the towers. Show you. You see? So what guild do you think this was? The sculpture above the door already explains it, because we see all these tools indeed of masons. So this was actually the Masons Guild here, You can see it really nicely, right? Oh, sorry. So, and then here around the corner, oh, it's here actually. So this stone is very famous. Here we can see the stone that explains in what year it was that the first stone of this building was laid. Now, if you know your Roman scripture and your letters, then maybe you can read it a bit, like the upper row. There you can see an M, which stands for 1000, then 4 times C, it's like 4 times 100, and then you can see a L, which is 50, and then 3 times X, and a V and 3 stripes. So the last part is like L is 50, 3 times 10 is 30, so that makes 80, and then V is 5 plus 3 is 8. So then it was in the year 1488 that the first stone of this building was laid. So here there is another one, and you know, I don't know if you can read it, but like here is the name of it. It says Sint Lucas Gild. So that actually means this was the painters guild. This was for the painters, so they had their entrance here, and you know, very close there is another guild, and that was actually for the blacksmiths. Now I'm turning the camera a little bit because I want to show you here. This is the Zeedijk, like over here. So I'm walking on the Zeedijk now, and as you can see, there are a lot of you know, Chinese restaurants, and over there, just walking there, there's also a very nice Chinese temple. I'll just show you. Nowadays it's always closed actually, or maybe it's only open till 4 o'clock or so, I'm not sure. You see, so now you can imagine why this area is called Little Chinatown. It's quite nice inside as well. I've been inside a couple of times, and there are still nuns living here, like Buddhistic nuns, I've been told.
We're moving places I can't control. I don't know how to be without you. I don't feel whole. Look what.
So imagine you were a sailor on board of these big VOC ships, and just, you know, got back home from being away for months and months to gather all your spices and what have you, and then you went with all your merchandise, you went to the Waag to let it, you know, weigh by government people. So that's really nice, just walking in the footsteps of these sailors. So it's not hard to imagine what that was like. So this is what I, you know, already told you in the introduction, that this area you could also call Little Chinatown, because all the street names are in Chinese characters as well. And when you see, you know, the word coffee shop, you're like sure that you are in Amsterdam, right?
No, I'm looking down from up in the sky.
So this is one of my favorite shops here in this area. It's called Toko Dunyon, and you know, it looks quite small, but it's not. It's like really big. It's 3 floors, and it has been here for quite some time. It's like currently it's the third generation of Chinese people who run this place, and it's really busy as well. It's very successful, and I go here, yeah, to buy a variety of things like tea that I can't find anywhere else. Like the genmaicha tea. It's like green tea with roasted brown rice, and I go here for noodles, and yeah, I used to buy some special vegetables as well, and also for example rice cookies with seaweed. But nowadays I mostly go to have a really nice mochis. So here they are, a variety of choice. They're really nice. So I took 3 of my favorite flavors. This is like the tropical mango and passion fruit. This is the matcha green tea, and this is the honey roasted pistachio. They're so good. So I just tried also one of the other ones, the honey roasted pistachio, and it's also so good, as you can see here. So the outer layer is made of rice flour, and inside it's not like your regular ice cream. It's much lighter, because it's made out of coconut milk instead of cow milk. So it's also vegan. It's also for the vegan people. So I'm cycling now on the Gelderse Kade, and I'm on my way to another medieval building that was also part of the medieval city wall, because you can't pay a visit to the Waag without paying a visit to this building, because they belong together, So we're almost there. If you look a bit behind, the woman with the green dress. So it's here. Here we are again, and from here you actually have quite a nice view on this building. Maybe I can walk a bit, but I have to, watch the traffic as well here. Just a second. So I'm walking around. You see, it's in the same style as the Waag. So this used to be a defense tower in the Middle Ages, and I have been inside once to have a drink, because nowadays it's a small cafe, as you can see here, pancakes and more. And then it actually felt to me that the walls are so thick. I was sitting next to a window, and you could see that the window was placed in the wall, but that a part of that is coming out, and then you could actually see the thickness of these walls. That was amazing. I mean, the buildings that they used to build that time, completely different from what is built nowadays. So, but then there is a story that's attached to this tower that is called the Schrijerstoren. So in Dutch we call this the Schrijerstoren, and actually the old Dutch word schreien means crying, and they say that this tower got this name because of the following story. The story goes that when these men, these sailor men who were, had to go away from home for months and months, like with these big VOC ships to go to the east to gather their spices and some other goods. They, left from here. Now you see in the background, this building is the central station, but that time it was not here. There was sea here, the Zuiderzee. So the Zuiderzee was here, and then they just embarked on their ships here, and then their women, they would stand here next to the Schrijerstoren, and they had to wave them goodbye, not knowing when they would come back or whether they would come back at all. Because of course at sea there are many challenges and many, difficulties and dangers. They didn't know if they would see their husbands back, and if they would come back, then they also didn't know how long it would take before they saw them. So you can imagine they were standing here crying. So, hence the name Crying Tower, Schrijerstoren. So what I was just mentioning about the thick walls, I don't know if you can see it, but like here, you can see it a bit. So you see the window and here the walls, how thick they are from this tower. Already here in the beginning of the Zeedijk, there is a very interesting place. It's over here. Let's see if I can, you see? So especially the front of that house is quite interesting because it's actually the front of an old VOC ship. You see, it's completely different from all the other buildings here. That's very nice, right? And this is actually a cafe, and in the Middle Ages it used to be some sort of a hotel actually. And the name of the place is In het Aapje. Now, what does that mean? It, literally translated, it means in the monkey, or in the little monkey to be precise. So actually the story that goes along with this hotel is that the owner of this hotel that time, he was very fond of exotic animals, and like the sailors could stay in his place for free. When they gave him a monkey or a parrot or some other interesting animal that they took with them from other countries where they had been to gather all their spices and cotton and what have you, all these things that they would import and take with them. But then you can imagine that these animals, they, had all kinds of little small insects with them, like lice and fleas and, all these terrible small ant-like things. And then, if you would stay there, you would be infected with all these lice and fleas and what have you. So it would not be a very nice place actually to stay, but then it was for free. But then after you got out and then people saw that you were scratching all over, they would say, oh, you probably have stayed in the monkey. So in Dutch you would say, oh, je bent mooi in de aap gelogeerd. And it actually means that you were not in a very nice place, that you all of a sudden find yourself in a very bad position, that you are being fooled and tricked. So yeah, that's basically what the saying means, in the aap gelogeerd. So, and then the last thing I wanted to show you in this vlog, because I talked about it so much, about sailors and ships and history, around that of Holland. What I like to show you is here. So this is the replica of an old VOC ship. So of course I have been talking a lot about big ships that were actually, made here in Amsterdam, not very far from here, and they were built in an area that must have been somewhere here, behind here, like it was behind the Nieuwmarket area, and that area was called the Lastage, and there were no houses there around that time, but these big ships were just built there. So here you can see it again. It's really nice. It's actually part of the Scheepvaart Museum, like the building you see behind the ship. It's a very nice museum that's all about the history of the Netherlands around this sailors and ships, and where to what countries they would go. And you can enter this ship, and it's really amazing to see inside, like how loads of these sailors were staying aboard of those ships for all those months, and you can even see all the food and goods for using that they took with them. It's still in there, it's like, there you can see bread and fruit and other things for eating, and of course that's all made out of plastic, but nevertheless you can see all these items there behind glass where they were stored inside the ship, and also the hut where the captain stayed. And nowadays even there's also some interactive VR show in there, which is also really nice. They just made that, I think, a few years ago, but it's really worth a visit, that museum. But especially the ship is really nice to visit. So this will be the end of my second vlog. I hope you liked it, and I hope you are also interested a little bit in history and architecture, because these are two of my favorite topics. So I hope to see you soon, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye!